Between the 25th of November and the 10th of December, that's 2024, when the international body celebrated the well-known 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, GBV. The Kumbo Diocesan Justin Peace Commission carried out a series of activities over a number of days. Panel discussions, radio talks, seeking the church's perspective, youth engagement, prayers, and the celebration of the International Human Rights Day.
There are issues of violence where women maybe in some families are not permitted to exercise some economic power because they fear that, okay, it would become different or would be that a woman has it. So we have instances here where women are raped, where the young girl is raped. That's an instance of gender-based violence because it is against that woman's will. We have instances here where women are not permitted to inherit property. So we also have issues of incest, where maybe elderly cousins, elderly family members that are men decide to harass their younger family members or the young girls sexually. We also have issues of body shaming. It's violence against the woman because the society wants to see this woman with this figure 8. And when you're less of it or when you're not as beautiful as they think a woman should be, you find words that break them, that you're not shaped like a woman should be shaped.
It was on the 7th of December that Justin Peace had thus enriching and exciting discussion with 2 members of the Family Life Apostolate, aimed at identifying gender-based violence within families and seeking possible ways of redressing them.
Even a man, maybe when there is trouble, you see a man saying that even though I am not educated, I am the one having the powers, so I override. And in that situation, you will realize that it's actually very, very difficult for women.
Anyway, it becomes true, but then we look at it from this way. You talked about culture and you talked about education.
Yes.
Of course, in our present reality, we have many women who are in school.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe, Mr. Niederman's son, do you think there is a clash between culture and the emancipated woman when it comes to issues of violence? Because we have women who stand up today to fight for their rights, and we are standing in the face of a culture that says, hey, the place of the woman should be after the man. But many women have fought. Maybe I'll quote the example of just months ago, a top woman, a whole lecturer in the university, was battered to death by a supposed husband. Of course, she is learned, she's educated, she's a lecturer. But now we find such cases where women who are schooled surely succumb and keep quiet till they find their death. What do you want to say about culture facing the emancipated woman?
This discussion was highly participated in by other viewers online, thanks to the expertise of the Communications Office, Diocese of Kumbo.
Drawing inspiration from the theme, which is Unite to End Gender-Based Violence Against the Woman and the Girl Child, we decided this season to work with structures, to work with institutions and see how we can share experiences, how we can share knowledge and ideas on how to come together and complement each other in this fight in the diocese. So day one, we were talking with the Diocesan Family Life Office, Mr. and Mrs. Sebastian, to know how they tackle from family level issues of GBV, given that they work directly with families, and it's easy to find out, given that in our context we have a lot of issues coming up from families, violence on the woman and the girl child. So we were sharing knowledge with them on what they do and how we complement each other, or how we can better complement each other in the struggle.
Together to stop gender-based violence.
On December 10th, Justin Peace celebrated the Human Rights Day in the Kumbo Cathedral Hall with 3 protective structures they have put in place: the Traditional Council, Peace Clubs, and Gender-Based Violence Clubs.
Human rights is a broad issue than gender-based violence. That is one of those violations that are caused by people in the society. Well, this club was founded by the Justice and Peace Commission 3 years ago. We actually identified those crimes, those violations that are caused. Those that we are able, at least because there are some of us like myself, I'm trained, I'm a social mediator and all that. So I do that. The ones that are within my scope, I do it. The one which is above me, I examine the facts findings and then I send to the office.
The Peace Club is a club that in our community we sensitize people
to make peace within them, not with other people, make peace within them. We have our meetings, before sensitizing people, we have our meetings once after every month to see about peace-related issues to be created inside our community.
I'm Sheikh Joseph Iban from Kutu Village Traditional Council.
Today, the 10th of December 2024, we commemorate the International Human Rights Day with the theme, as you can see here, Our Rights, Our Future. Because if these rights they be respected, promoted at every level, the future will be waiting, right? And when we begin the future be right, make things they change. Now we start from now. As if these weren't enough, the Commission had an encounter with the Youth Federation over the radio program known as the Youth Jamboree, aimed at engaging the youths in the fight against gender-based violence. Meanwhile, on December 12th, the activism continued in yet another discussion with a canon lawyer, Monsignor Oliver Shendi, the Cathedral Administrator of the Diocese of Kumbo, on the Church's position on gender-based violence.
This is Father Oliver Shendi, the Vicar General of the Diocese of Kumbo. We in the Diocese of Kumbo are very concerned about gender-based violence, and we work hard to see that we eliminate this ill in the society. The Bishop, through the Pastoral Council of the Diocese, have worked so hard to ensure that first we do education of the population and the Christian communities so that we have a good understanding of the harm that is being caused by the violence in the communities and various homes. When you go to canon law, if we talk about canon 1153, that also advocates for the protection of the partners in marriage, especially when there is violence, there are serious difficulties that could cause harm to the life of each other or to the life of the community as a family. The Church would advocate for a separation so that the case is studied, it is checked, so that easily they could be brought back to live a good and a well-defined community life between the two, so that marriage life will also be enjoyable. And I think that's how the Church has been working hard to ensure that we have a society that will reduce or even eliminate completely violence in the community, especially to women and the girl child.
Sister Patience Simon of the Handmaids of the Child Jesus congregation sat in to testify to the efforts of the said congregation in relation to gender-based violence. They pray within the 16 days of activism and create awareness on the subject.
I'm Sister Patience Simon, a member of the congregation of the Handmaids of the Holy Child Jesus, founded by Mother Richards Magdalene Walker RSC. When she was in Africa, one of her interests and aim was to educate the women and the girls. So as a congregation, we carry out some activism on gender-based violence, like praying with 16 candles with 16 different intentions on behalf of all those who have suffered gender-based violence, those who have survived from it, and also creating awareness to all those in the society and praying for all perpetrators in order for them to stop these acts. But prayer is not enough. We pray with actions, like you go out to help those who have survived. We also find out the root causes of gender-based violence.
Nyenka Marcel Nyeye is my name, and I work for the Diocesan Commission of Justice and Peace in the Diocese of Kumbo. The laws governing the aspect of gender-based violence, we begin from the international instruments, and if we look at the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, that was promulgated in 1948. Yes, you would see that after the declaration, several conventions and covenants have been enacted and by the states. the states of the United Nations. And we look at the first convention, very important convention, is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, that was enacted in 1978 by the United Nations General Assembly. And Cameroon ratified this particular instrument on the 23rd of August 1994. And the dispositions of this convention shows that whosoever violates the rights of the woman and the girl child is punishable. And when you look at the various violations that are being stratified, you will discover that you have the physical part of it, you have the emotional part of it, you have the psycho part of it. You also have the issue of beating in the house, torture and all the like.
Strange enough to know that it is not only Justice and Peace in Kumbo that is engaged in the fight against GBV. Of course, this tells you that it's the consent of many. It also tells you that you're not alone, and it also tells you that many are convicted that if you empower a girl and a woman and a young girl, the community at large will grow for the betterment of all. So it inspires the office to do more. It inspires the office to work more with more structures, with more activists, and to gain one voice in protecting the woman and the girl child.
Stop gender-based violence.
The theme for this year's celebration has been United to End Gender-Based Violence Against Women and the Girl Child, while the theme for the International Human Rights Day was Our Rights, Our Future, Right Now. And right now, dear listeners and dear viewers, because the time to act is now. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. A presentation of Radio Evangelium Kumbo.
Draft something that is sane enough to protect and enhance the dignity of the woman and the girl child.
I would say that each home, each family should be able to, like parents especially, they should be able to talk to their young ones, their children. So as they grow up, the men, the boys, they won't grow up with that mentality that women are nothing in the society. They will grow up that knowing that both, whether you are a girl or you are a boy, we are all equal in the society. So parents should take that full responsibility to bring up their children in a good manner.
There are specific persons in the community that must work hard to maintain those values. There are people in the community that must be as advocates. And so before a community is actually a good one, people must work hard. And so you must go through perseverance, through tolerance. And it is not as if perseverance, tolerance should be absent from a community well-built society.